would like you to do is record that group of numbers on the top of the screen, and then please write 5-number summary and write everything on the left-hand side down. Don't worry about the things on the right, that will be instructions we'll follow later.
We're going to have the whole lesson on our computer, like I said.
Next week, you will do. Huh? Yes, you will do that now, won't you?
Sounds boring.
Yeah, I can take that one. Stop.
Can I borrow a pen, please?
Yep.
Oh, thanks.
So can you take your rock paper and I'll give you a rock paper. Will, what's up? Sure. You haven't set your test yet either. Have you? So when's that going to happen? You ready for 3? Alright, you'll need to walk through recording.
Good at design, I'm the best. Can't be it. Maybe it's you. You do it.
Do you have a calculator?
Yeah, do I need a graphic?
No, you just need a calculator. Do you have a calculator? Yes.
Yes.
Yep, go get one.
Oh, never mind.
Yes. You can, yes. Actually, no, I think the other 18 classes hasn't sat yet, so I can't give it back yet.
I'll do it.
I can give you a grade. Yes, you're interviewers. But how are you ready to do a trig test? The soccer tower? Maybe?
Oh, Ron wants you to plug that in somewhere.
Yeah, but it means it's easy to get it. After lower quartile says Q3. So Q1, sorry.
What are we going?
If you were listening, you realize.
We're copying this down.
Yep, Q2 and then Q3. Sorry, I can't make it bigger. Yeah, we'll go through that in a second. Copy it down.
Alright, all of that down.
Just the left-hand column information and the numbers.
Do we copy down like the range bit?
Yeah, do that as well.
where to the left hand side?
Yeah, so the right hand side is instructions for the graphics calculators, which we'll use in a second. But I'm going to go through the left hand side first. So what we're looking at today is generating 5-number summaries, hence the title. A 5-number summary is essentially just a list of 5 numbers that can tell us a lot about a data set. And data set can be anything from heights to income levels to weights. But if we have this 5-number summary, we can compare different data sets easily. So if we wanted to find out whether our class is taller than the class next door, we can look at a 5-number summary of our class heights and their 5-number summary. Alright? And I'll go through what each of these numbers is. You'll have seen 3 of them before. Minimum, pretty obvious, is the smallest value. Maximum, the largest value. And median is the middle value. And we spent quite a bit of time last couple lessons, on ways to find the median. What you won't have seen before is the lower quartile and upper quartile. Now, lower quartile, remember how we're talking about ATARs? If you score an ATAR of 60, it means you've beaten 60%. The lower quartile equates to an ATAR of 25. So if you're in the lower quartile, it means you've scored 25 or below. Or if you were in the lower quartile of heights of this class, it means you were part of the shortest 25%. Or in weights, you would be part of the lightest 25%. Does that make sense? If you're in the upper quartile, it means you're either at the 75% mark or above. So if you're at the 75% height quartile, it means you are taller than 3/4 of the class. Or heavier than 3/4 of the class. And one example that this is used quite often is with what's called demographics. So demographics is, I guess, grouping people into their income brackets. And I want to show you a little piece of information from the internet. This is statistics from Modbury High School. And it says distribution of students. What this means is the Australian-wide distribution in each quartile is 25% in each quartile. So Australia-wide, the entire population, 25% of students are in the bottom, 25% of students are in the lower middle, 25% of students are in the upper middle, and 25% are in the top quarter. It makes sense splitting it into quartiles, and that's where the word splitting into quarters, that's where the word quartile comes from. This is the breakdown of Modbury students, and it's based essentially, I guess, on income. So 13% of Modbury students are in the top quartile, 27 are in the top upper middle, 34 lower middle, 26 lower quartile. And each school will have a different spread for their students. Yes?
Where it says full-time equivalent enrollment, how can you have 0.6 of an enrollment?
Well, for example, some students in Year 11 might do 4 of their subjects here and do 2 vet courses. So you're right, you can't have 0.6 of a student, but you can have students taking some of their courses here, some externally. Just like over here, you can't really have full-time teaching staff of 66.3. What it means is that there are 71 teachers, but not all of them will work full-time. So some will work part-time, and that's why the actual full-time teaching staff is 66.3. And this is quite a cool website that you can look up anything about any school. It's called My Schools. But cool as far as statistics goes. So, back to our little 5-number summary. We want to find minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and maximum of this set of numbers here. Alright, so let's start off with an easy one. Can anyone tell me what the minimum is?
30.
1. Thank you. 1. Maximum? Alright, so we've done the 2 easiest. Now, what about median? Because we've seen this before.
7.
Alright, instead of just guessing or probably or looking, one way we can do it is ticking them off. So remember, tick, tick. You go from either end. And this only works if the data is in order. And we get to here. The 7 is the median. Alright? Now there's a good reason I've circled it. Because lower quartile, if you imagine that 7 what we're saying is that 50% of the numbers are above that 7 and 50% are below. Alright? The way we can think about the lower quartile is that it is the median of the bottom half. So, I'm going to change colours, and if we find the median of the bottom half, all we're considering is from that red line to the left. So I'll start ticking off from either side there. And we get to a pair here. Alright? Now, if you find a pair, you add them together and divide them by 2. Because really you're trying to find in between here. Alright? So the lower quartile is the median of the bottom half. And what we're saying is that 25% of our data is below 2.5 and 75% of the data is above 2.5. Median we found already. Now upper quartile. Upper quartile is the median or the middle number of the top half. So using our red again, we draw a line here. Notice we're cutting out the median here. But of the top half, we're only considering numbers to the right of that 7. So we start crossing off from either side. And we get to 11. That's our upper quartile. Take the notes. Yes.
So if there was a pair on the upper quartile, would you do the same thing?
Yes. Yeah, so if we crossed off from either side and came to a pair, we'd add them and divide them by 2. Good question. Alright. Now, two more pieces of information we get from this is called the range and the interquartile range. Range you'll have seen in previous years working with data is simply the maximum minus the minimum. So it's the 20 minus 1 is 19. But the interquartile range is basically telling us how spread out our middle 50% are. So the range tells us how spread the 100% of the data is, but the interquartile range tells us how spread that middle chunk is. It's the distance between these two numbers. So in our case, it's 11 minus 2.5. Alright, now I'll come around and give you graphics calculators. And clearly I do want them back at the end of the lesson. Now, our issue is when working with numbers, we don't always get numbers in order. So if I was going to measure the height of the entire class, the numbers would come in all over the place. Or if the whole school...
Can we just do something like that, please?
No, we will work with more realistic data in a second, but this is just for practicing now. The good news about
It's so boring. We
graphics calculators is that you don't have to put the numbers in order to start with. So, when I give you the graphics calculators, can you go to menu, and instead of going to the normal run mode, press 2, which takes you into stat mode. Stat for statistics, and then put these numbers down the first column. Probably.
Why don't we?
You will do
Fill one out and
60 measurements.
so he comes in.
No, 120 measurements. You turn the bad boy on by pressing the AC on button.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's not racist. You won't use that.
What should I tell you?
Let's go.
Once
Stat mode.
someone got angry and that's my
So you did it yourself.
yeah. And I like that.
everyone should be looking at a screen that looks something like that with columns down it. And then you should put numbers in the columns. Yes,
What do I
well
have to do?
in list 1, put them all the way down.
One's got numbers in it.
And delete them.
Okay.
If it's got numbers in it, delete them.
What do we do?
Wait, does it come up with like sub and then rows and columns and stuff?
Yes.
What do you do?
What is going on?
Yes. Okay, menu 2. You're in that mode. You're in the wrong mode. Menu 2. Let's go in stat mode.
I didn't know what that was.
Alright, one first number there. So first number is 1. And exit the option go down.
One. Wait, can I do that? Right. Yes. One.
Delete them.
2.5.
Put the numbers 1 to 20. Put the data we're using. You got them in there? Well done.
Mr. Ginsberg. Mr. Ginsberg.
Just let everyone put their numbers in first. Just put your numbers in and be patient.
I can't do mine.
It's alright.
Wait, do we put all the numbers 1 to 20? Do we put all the numbers in 1 to 20 or just?
Yep, all the numbers.
Oh,
Wait, where? In the first column.
Yeah, in the first column.
You take it.
Alright, so you should have an entire list of numbers going down your first column like that. Alright, when you've got that, you see along the bottom, there's those list of tabs. Each of those is an option. Can you press your F2, which is calculate? And now down the bottom should read 1 var, 2 var, reg, set. Yes, okay. 1. Alright, here you go. You've got numbers there. The numbers we're working at. So there's T down there, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or all the numbers we're working with on the top.
what?
Alright, now press calc.
It's 20 numbers.
F2.
And then F1.
Wait, what do we do? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What do we do?
Alright, some people are still having trouble putting the numbers in, so just be patient, alright?
Where do you go after that?
Alright, so you press calc, and it looks like that. You got the 3 tabs down the bottom,
You press F1 again.
and now what you press, no, not yet.
I don't cheat.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, so F2 and then F1.
Press set. Alright,
F2 and then F1.
now press set. And you should come up with a little menu that looks like this.
Mine's not like that.
Did you press set?
Press exit. Press exit.
Press exit, then press F6.
It's like dumb.
I'll keep going, they can last a long time. You
Oh, got it.
Let's see.
Set.
Oh yeah, you can
Alright, now press set.
I already pressed it.
That's G Sol. That's G Sol.
Oh, it is
You
right.
guys are good at technology. Yeah, alright, so looking at this. On the first row, it says 1 var X list. Yep.
Yeah.
Next to 1 var X list, it needs to read list 1. It all reads list 1. Most of them should have this setting already.
Yeah.
Alright? The top row should read 1 var X list. And then next to that, list 1. The next row down should read 1 var freak, 1 var frequency. And next to it should be number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, if that's all, Alright, so then just change it to number 1. Rowan, sit down. Alright, if that's all fine, hit exit. Exit. And you're back to the previous screen. Don't worry about the other one. Alright, now
Wait, were you in our class last year?
press 1 var. If you fall behind
Press.
because you're not listening, I'll not be amused.
I didn't hear what you said. I was listening. Though.
No, you're turning around talking to Rowan.
I wasn't.
Now press F1, which is 1 var. And there'll be a whole list of numbers. Alright, that top one that has an X with a little bar on the top, and next to it says 7.18 or
Mine
something.
says select list number.
Mine doesn't have
What that
Oh,
means
one
is
bar.
that you didn't pay attention to the last the exit one and
Oh
then
yeah.
Good. See, that's what it should look like. That top number is the mean. If ever you want to calculate the mean of a set of data quickly, that top number, the 7.18, is the mean.
Oh my god. 7.1718.
Good. Yeah, you're there. Alright, so probably means you put the numbers in wrong. You might have put a 200 in by accident. Alright, now if you scroll down that list, scroll down and you'll see something that says N, and next to N should be 16.
Mine's 14.
Alright, so that means you missed two of the numbers. Alright, N is the number of data points you put in. Okay?
Maybe too many.
Now underneath that, can anyone guess what min x is?
Minimum.
Well done, min x is minimum of x. One under that, Q1?
20.
No.
Quartile.
Quartile 1, which is 2.5. That's the lower quartile. It's found our lower quartile for us. Anyone guess what med is?
Medium.
Median. It's found our median for us. Q3?
Quartile. Upper quartile.
Upper quartile. What does yours read?
10.
Yeah, mine reads 10 as well. Which must have been we did something wrong up the top. But it's found our...
11.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's wrong
You did
now.
it wrong, Steph.
We must have done it wrong on the board.
I did it
Calculator does it well. Alright, and then max x is
20.
20. Alright, so those 5 numbers are our 5 number summary. It makes life a lot easier when we've got the calculator to do it rather than putting them in order. And I'll show you why in a sec. Alright? Now, what I would like you to do... Wait.
Wow.
Is to look at this data here.
Well, it's more free.
Now, in the textbook, there are lots of questions like this. What you'll have to do is sort them. What you would be doing, rather, is sorting them in order from lowest to the smallest, lowest to highest, then selecting the median, and then finding the Q1 and Q3. However, the calculator makes that a lot easier by you not having to sort them, you just enter them in.
Just randomly.
Keep trying.
Any order with the calculator doesn't matter. So what I'd like you to do now is find the 5 number summary for this list of basketballers, and I'll try and make that bigger.
Why is there
That's
a
football.
155?
No.
Oh, football.
Sorry, list of footballers. Alright, so use those numbers in your calculator to find the 5 number summary.
And there's like 30 of them there.
Yes? Yep. So I guess the question is, would you rather put those 30 in order and find it by hand, or put the 30 in the calculator and let it do it for you?
Calculator.
Alright, so do it.
Wait, there is 30, right? Yeah? I reckon 4 times.
Can't do that.
So in a test, as you're going through, you might be ticking the numbers off as you go,
4
showing you've
times
entered them.
12, that is
48.
48, so there's 48 of them.
Yes.
So smart one.
Oh no.
Should be listening.
Is yours?
That's a tough That's a lot of numbers, sir.
I'm asking you to put numbers in a calculator.
Yes, it's difficult. I'm getting dizzy. That's my eyeballs and my brain as well.
Go to class.
How do you put the numbers
That's
in?
not fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It comes after 1. Oh, yeah, you're right. Like 1, 7, 8. 1. Shut up. Which one? On the second line? Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
You do it.
I think I'm just repeating myself.
1 7, 1 6, 8, 1 7.
That's how you do it.
I'm so excited.
That's
You
racist.
hear him talking smack?
Why are you standing up? Stay seated. Are the numbers in your calculator?
Nearly.
I don't understand.
I've got like 15 done.
So
I
not
know.
shut the back in. Shut them.
Is that one?
I'm almost done.
Good.
So stuffy.
Wasted
I got more than 48 numbers. How about you guys?
Obviously, you can't count this again.
Oh, I know what I did. I didn't delete the first bunch.
Oh, you're a cheater.
Did you get? Did anybody else get 172.97?
Done.
For what? For the median?
Too many numbers in one day, so
I'm not doing it.
Oh my god.
No, I put an extra. I put an extra line.
Wait.
Oh, I should
So what I'd like you to do is find the 5-number summary. So once you put the numbers in, your calculator should be on the right setting already. You should just be able to press 1 bar, and you should be able to get the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum.
mean. Do we have to put no? Do we have to put down the number of the points?
No, I haven't just done the first.
So that's the settings already. You're there. You just press 1 bar. Right, you got 170.33. Yeah.
Put down the
41 centimeters.
number of articles.
You have to watch this online later.
And I just moved down and I'll go back.
Probably not.
Why not? Do you not want to be finding?
5-number summary. To get those 5 numbers that are important.
Why do I have 17? What is
Can't remember how many 168s and 178s.
Write the 5-number summary down.
What number did you get?
No, you cannot
I think I
go
got
up.
the wrong number in. Most people are 171
I got 59.
for the means.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
I don't know.
Alright, so you got all the numbers in?
Yeah.
Good one. Then you press count 1 variable. And that's your mean. Whoa, and
I'm not finished, I don't know.
Wait, 141 centimeters for a basketball player, pretty sure.
It's football players.
I was going to say that's pretty sure.
Yeah.
so that's your minimum. You got 42. And your maximum.
I got 48 numbers.
Median. So you missed one though. That's okay.
I got
48 is good. Yes.
I got 48.
Good. So then what are the 5 numbers? The 5
What do we do after we enter them?
Alright, so press 1 bar. And then that, as you scroll down, will give you. Yes, that's right. So that's your mean, the top one. Don't worry about those next bunch. But under N is 48, so you put 48 numbers in. That's the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. So those are the 5. Those are the 5 numbers you're after. Yes. So it puts out those 5 numbers for that.
You like mess my pen up.
Alrighty, how many numbers do you get?
Should be 48.
48.
Yeah.
You messed up.
Mr. Sir,
Yes.
how do you find out
Fine,
the
just
median?
different colours.
Do you need that?
Well, it says med.
The med. The one that says med is the median.
You have changed it.
I'll fix it.
Alright, fix it.
Oh, you make her shorter. Oh, now I can't see it.
Good.
Are you about to?
No, you don't. You've got the numbers in. You just need the 5-number summary.
Oh, 5-number summary.
Yep. So use the calculator to find a 5-number summary. That's the minimum.
To enter them all.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't entered them all yet.
Right. Well, that's because you've been playing looking out the window. And unfortunately, class is ready to move on now. But the questions in the textbook, so you go back and look at it later. Alrighty, so 5-number summary. Now, because in maths we like nice, simple ways of presenting information, we do. We've come up with a nice, simple way of presenting the 5-number summary, and that's called a box and whisker plot. So, have you seen these before?
No.
No.
No. Alright.
I don't want to.
The way this works is, just give me a sec. This is called a box and whisker plot because the centre, shape of a box, and then these lines we call the whiskers. And very simply, the end of the left-hand whisker is our minimum. The end of the left hand of the box is the lower quartile. The median is a line within the box, and the end of the box is the upper quartile. The end of the right-hand whisker
Shouldn't the
is...
median line be in the middle?
You think so most of the time, but amazingly not always, no.
So do we have to draw that at a time?
Alright, so when you're drawing the 5-number summary in a box plot, you'll have to draw something like this. Now the way it works is, you have an axis. It's just like column graphs or pie graphs, these are just as similar. You start with an axes for numbers, so you call them x values. That could easily be heights or weights, etc. And what you do is, like an x value on any number line, you go from numbers, say, 1 through 20. Alright, so from numbers 1 to 20, which I've drawn on the board, what's that, halfway, 10, 5, 15. And now remember our 5-number summary from above, Nathan. What was the minimum?
106.
No, Nathan, think. What was the minimum? Of the numbers above, the ones you got written on your sheet, what was the lowest one? Sorry, on the sheet. We're doing the original example.
Oh, 1.
1. Alright, so our whisker starts at 1. Then using a ruler, what is the lower quartile value? Nathan?
2.5.
Alright, so we go across the 2.5, and that's where our box starts. So we draw a line there. What was our median?
7.
Okay, so the first line of the box will happen at 7.
Same.
What was the upper quartile?
11.
Alright, and that's where the end of the box goes to. And the maximum?
20.
Good one.
It's a good one.
Alright. So instead of writing the numbers on the actual box and whisker plot, we write them on a scale below, and then do the box and whisker plot above. The reason we do this is because we might want to put more than one box and whisker plot above this bottom line. And I know there's a lot of information now, and I'm sorry. The reason I'm doing it this way around is because I'm away next week, remember? So I'm trying to pack a week's worth of teaching in now.
Oh, you're away next week?
Wait,
Go
so
up
Mr. Biedenberg, the median can be anywhere along that line.
It can be anywhere within the box, yes. Kayla.
Supposed to be in the middle, why is it not?
It just means that 50% of the numbers are in here and 50% are in there. And you'd also think that because 25% and that's also 25%, you think the left-hand whisker would be the same length, just like you'd want that to be in the middle. The reason it's not is because of the nature of the numbers up here.
Copy that.
Yes. It's because, you see, from the median up to 20, there's a gap of 13. And here, from the median down to 1, there's only a gap of 6. So the median's going to be more towards the left-hand side. So yes, I would like you to copy the box and whisker plot so you can have a complete example.
Do it, Brady.
What, there?
Yeah.
But I need the scale, please, guys.
Okay.
I can tell you what points are missing.
I know I did that.
I'll put it back. My eyes are really good.
Take good next to
You want you can move up the front hand.
I'm just so like looking at everything.
Huh? Which one's what?
1, 5,
Use this one because it's got the numbers, but can you label it with those things above?
Yeah.
Because you need to know what the numbers mean what.
Can you just drag the photo down? Like, so, like, you know, I can't draw my box.
Like that? Alright, remember, whisker, box, whisker.
Oh, okay.
Yep. The lines are the whiskers, the box is in the middle.
Oh, right. It's just like, yeah. Shut up. I only get help from Mr. Bruno.
that make you do specials to be
No. Because she needs to be getting help from the textbook and from friends as well.
Shut up.
But even Brody.
Even Brody.
Hey, don't
What?
talk about him like that.
Oh shit.
Oi, shots fired.
Shots fired.
Say it, say it. That's a lot of information for one day.
Well, we haven't finished yet, I'm afraid. No. I know. This is why you're taking notes, so that when you practice, you can go back and look at them. Alright, have you all got the box and whisker plot down?
No.
Well, please do it quickly,
Oh,
because we have one more thing to go through.
why did they make it forgetting my classes?
Huh?
Why did they make it
I guess because it's a nice visual link that people can see the difference between the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and the median. You'll see when you start doing questions that it becomes easy to compare. Sophie, what are you doing?
My name's Bruce.
Alright,
Do a slideshow.
last bit of information. Let's erase the question. Alright, so outliers. When we have and working with information, sometimes we get a piece of data that doesn't make sense. It's either too big or too small. Alright? So if we did the heights of this class and one of the heights came out to be 210 centimetres, we would question it. We'd think, well, that's a bit strange. Any data that is a bit strange, we call an outlier. Alright? Now, we have developed a test for determining where a piece of data becomes strange. So, for example, with this class,
I think we should be voting on that.
a height of 210, most of you would agree was very unusual. What about a height of 205? Is still unusual?
Still unusual.
A height of 195?
That's not.
Little bit pushing it.
Well, not unusual. So somewhere in there is a boundary between...
Daniel Ashwood would be 2 meters tall.
Is he in this class?
No.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that somewhere between 195 and 210, there is a point where we would say, no, that's unusual. Something's gone wrong. So we would expect maybe 195, but not 210. And in there is a line, and we find that line... We can use judgment sometimes, but we use this rule here. This rule on the board, listening, Kayla, is actually not so hard. The lower boundary for a height is the lower quartile, so Q1, and remember that's lower quartile.
Nathan works.
Alright, take a seat, Nathan.
He's got a glove on. He's got a glove on.
He lifts weights.
Minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Now, if you remember from your notes, the interquartile range was the Q3 minus Q1. Alright? Q3, or the upper quartile, we find the upper bound for an upper quartile by doing Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. Alright? And please just take those notes and we'll go back to the basket of football example and I'll explain how they relate to that in a second.
What's the point of this?
You're trying to determine when a piece of information doesn't make sense. Like when is it too far outside the boundary? Yes. Yes. We even use it in staff meetings sometimes. So we will do 5 number summaries of your grades sometimes.
They
And
like them when teachers do it.
yes, yeah.
I'll snap this.
But once you've got the notes, we'll go through a couple of practice questions with the help of the calculators to show you how to do it. Yep, I'm sorry. Has everyone got those 2 little lines down?
No.
Please do. Those 2 equations. Outlier boundaries, lower bound, upper bound. Kayla Brody.
What's that yellow thing?
It's a protractor. Alright,
Okay then.
look, there's 2 lines. Please copy them quickly.
You haven't even written out all the boundaries.
Lisa, it needs to be quick.
You just copy this.
Done?
Yep.
Another. Alright, so now we have these numbers in our calculator already, so you don't need to re-enter them.
Oh, okay.
Alright, well if you turn them on, the numbers will still be there. If you delete them, Danielle, can you look at someone else's, please? Alright, in fact you can look at mine. Now, see these listed questions. How would you find the range of the heights? What is the range, looking back at our notes?
141.
So it's max minus min. What is the range? And in your calculator, if you can't be bothered searching for which the highest and lowest are, remember your calculator should tell you which is the max and which is the min.
So you have to take
206.
141 to 206.
206, take away what was the lowest?
141.
141. Alright, that equals... What else was it equal? 65 centimetres. Alright, so if we want to find the range is 65 centimetres. What about interquartile range? Take a seat. Why are you late? Take a seat. Lots of this won't make sense. Not too. Alright. Good. IQR is equal to Q3 minus Q1. So what's Q3?
I meant to pass 180. No, I'm going to say it.
180?
Wait, 179. I got the difference.
And what's Q1?
For being racist.
I'm not going to put the decimals in.
Oh, you're reckless.
Alright, now, this is the most important part and comes with lots of marks in a test. Calculate the values that are cut-off values at either end of the data set which the results be considered outliers. So we want to find the boundaries which we would consider outliers. We want to find a height that if we got a result that's above that height, they'd be too tall, and we want to find a result that if we got below that height, they'd be too short.
Is there
We
any
think it's
one right
unusual.
answer?
Yes, there is, certainly. Alright, so remember, upper bound is equal to Q3 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Now we know what Q3 is. Q3 is 179 from our calculator, plus 1.5 times the interquartile range, which is 20. That is 209. What this number means, this 209 means, is if we find anyone who's taller than 209, we would think of that as an outlier. We would think it was strange. Alright, now I don't think we have anyone taller than 209, so there aren't any upper outliers.
They wouldn't be able to get through that door.
No, they'd be banging their head. Alright, so lower outliers, lower bound. Lower bound? What? You're not going to be sure, you'll be fine.
Q1 take 1.5 times something.
Good. Q1 take 1.5 times the interquartile range. Which in our case is Q1 is 159 minus 1.5 times 20.
A number. Crap, I'm not that tall.
129 centimetres. So Sophie might be under it, but I doubt it. Okay.
It's probably me.
So that is the lower bound. If any of the heights were below that height, we would think a child has snuck onto the team. It's something unusual has happened.
A child snuck onto the team.
Well, how else do you explain a height of below 129? Midgets? Okay, there's a midget playing.
There's Mitchell.
Hiding.
So sometimes there are explanations for why the numbers are like that. But when we see outliers, we have to start searching for explanations, basically. Alright, question D, are there any outliers in the data set? Well, no, because no one's shorter than 129 and no one's taller than 209. So we can answer no, there are not any outliers. Alright, so the steps, what you've done very quickly today, I know it's quick, so I will give you time to practice, is to use a set of numbers to find a 5-number summary and then to try and calculate whether there are outliers involved. Alright, so we're going to do one more together, so let me just bring it up on the screen.
Can we measure out how much to do it?
And you'll need the calculator for this. No, I don't.
You said take
How
2.
do you get rid of all the numbers?
You can highlight a number and then press delete. So if I were you, I'd highlight the top number and then keep pressing delete.
Press 9 and then execute and it changes to 9.
It's just going to be
Yes, this sort of statistics pops up in year 11. Alrighty, so the new question on the board is, this is the number of points scored by a basketballer in a season of games.
That's pretty good.
Without entering, don't enter it in the calculator now.
It's 54.
Don't enter them in the calculator now. Just looking at the data, do you see any outliers? They're either too low or too high. Alright, so the 8s are low, aren't they? Why might a basketballer not score highly in a game?
That is shots off.
Okay, either he's playing defense, his shot's off, or just as likely he's been injured and subbed off.
Or he's really bad.
Well, he's not, because we look at all his other games, he's
Maybe he
doing
has
well.
some off days.
Huh?
Maybe he has some bad days.
Okay, so he had a bad day. Alright, now I'm going to find more. Where's the next page? Alright. Here is the question I'd like you to do in your books. The data below shows distances travelled in a car by a car in a week for 30 employees. Each of these is a distance. Use your calculator to calculate the range of the data, find the interquartile range, and then draw a box plot and identify outliers. Okay? Yes, it'll take you 10 minutes or so. So enter the data and then answer those 3 questions. Go.